Bonsoir Strasbourg, comment ça va? Je m'appelle Joe Sumner, je suis le premier parti ce soir.
That's Joe Sumner addressing fans in France, where he recorded his just-released live EP. Joe will be in New Zealand soon, performing with his dad, who you know as Sting. They'll be in Christchurch and Napier. We found Joe in Perth, where he's keen to talk about his upcoming album, what he's learned from his dad, and just how fluent his French really is.
Yeah, I was staring right up at the sky with you.
But first, Joe tells us about the last time he was in New Zealand.
When I was there before, I took the train, the big window train down to from Auckland,
right
down all the way through the incredible landscapes. But I was very hungover, so I didn't enjoy it to the full extent.
Oh well,
I should have, but maybe I'll do it again.
Would you get hungover or?
No, never again.
All right.
Never again, as they say.
Yeah, right. Famous last words. All righty. Well, that's all good. So it sounds like you're having a good time on the road. What have the shows been like for you? Because you're opening for your dad, of course. So that's got to be kind of a thing that you're probably used to at this point.
I'm getting a bit too used to that. So that's there are pros and cons to that, but it's obviously amazing to get to play to a big audience in a big space and with like the world's greatest sound techs and everything set up beautifully. Like that's a great experience.
Right.
So that's cool. And but I kind of like to bust out on my own at some point.
It looks like you're planning on doing just that, because I see you got an album in the works, right?
I've got an album. It's in the can. It's ready to come out. It's ready to pop out as soon as everybody's ready.
All right. So I see you also just released an EP, like a live little EP from that was recorded in Strasbourg, I think it was.
Yes, in Strasbourg, France.
So why have you put that out instead of the album at this point, if the album's in the can?
Well, because I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I've been procrastinating about the final artwork. So this album
I see.
is called Sunshine in the Night. It's called Sunshine in the Night, and it's almost a concept album, not quite, but it has 10 tracks that all run together, and there's lots of like bits in between songs, interstitials, and I'm really just like, I want it to be exactly right when it comes out.
Fair enough.
And one of the things I really love about performing live is that it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or whatever, and you just have to do it. And it's like everyone's here and they're waiting and they're going to leave, or they're going to throw stuff at you if you don't do the show.
Right.
So every day I do a show, and it's all of the brain power of like worrying about stuff is gone because I just have to do it.
Right.
So that's why I put the EP out, because I'm just like, hey, I did this, and this is kind of what I've been doing. I play on my own at the moment, so it's just like me, a little bit of drum machines, and that's it. So it's super raw, and it just gives an impression of what I'm actually been playing live. But the album is like, initially the concept was me, an acoustic guitar, voice, that's it. A little bit, very nicely produced. After about 3 minutes, it's got everything on it. It's got all the instruments.
Right.
It's got 25 Trans-Siberian orchestras.
Okay. Why not?
Why not? Yeah, kind of, if they're there.
Sure.
So it's all full. So at some point also, when the album comes out, I want to be on the road with a full experience. So it'll have strings, drums, bass.
Do you have a producer you're working with, or are you doing it all yourself?
So the producer is this guy, Tom Sorowski. He's a friend of mine. He's worked with, he used to work with Brendan O'Brien a lot.
Right.
And he produced stuff by Audio Slave and Incubus and Prophets of Rage and all kinds of stuff like that.
Right.
Me and him are both in grunge land.
Oh, good. Well, the kind of 90s is happening over again, it feels like,
it is,
to some extent. What were the 90s like for you? I don't know how old you are, so you could have been an infant at that point. I'm not sure.
Let's pretend I was an infant.
All right.
At the age of 2, I picked up Nevermind by Nirvana, and that was actually what made me join a band.
Right. That's you on the cover, right?
That's me. That's not me on the cover. Marty. Okay.
Sorry about that.
At the time, I would have been like, yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was very much against the whole concept of music as a art form until Nirvana, and then I just suddenly, like the next day, I was in a band.
Okay.
So that was my whole vibe.
And was the reason that you were against music up until that point kind of a reaction to the fact that it's kind of the family business?
Yeah, I think that definitely had something to do with it. Because you see how the sausage is made.
Right.
Everyone's running around posing like absolute twerps. And there's a lot of like adult themed energy going on. And
right.
As a kid, you're just like, no, get away from me.
All right.
You're a bunch of freaks. And then suddenly when you find your groove, or when I found my groove, I was like, I see. It's something in the music just speaks to my very essence.
Right.
I'm ready to do it. And there's no other choice now.
Cool. So it's one thing, you've got all that background and whatever, but you still, if you're making a record, you need to have something to say. So when did you realize that you had something to say, and what is it you're trying to say with this record?
With this, this record is a lot about my children. So I became a father. About
Congratulations.
10 years ago. Thank you. And I was still at that time, I was still in my old band Fiction Plane.
Right.
Which we haven't officially called it quits, but we're chilling very heavily.
Heavy chilling. All right.
Yeah. But since then, it's basically been a cumulative expression of how mind-blowing that experience has been. So I have four kids now.
Whoa, you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been very busy, and I'm still busy. In fact, I'm busy right now with you can't see my hands, but I'm changing diapers as we speak.
Oh, well, good on you.
But that just trying to express how mind-blowing and life-changing that whole experience has been.
Right.
And staring into the future of the species and understanding the pain of the ancestors is a very pretentious way of saying it's just like, wow, changed my life.
Yeah.
It's all about that, and it's a psychedelic expression of what that's done to my brain.
So you mentioned psychedelic. If I heard the record, would I think about psychedelic music?
Yeah, I think so. By track 5, you'd be there.
All right.
Although it's a little less on the wah filter stuff, more on just random flutes appearing out of nowhere.
Oh, cool. Are you a student of psychedelic music?
I wouldn't say a student, but I enjoy it when I'm in the mood, for sure.
Give me. I'll throw you under a bus here. What's an example of what you consider a classic psychedelic album?
Well, classic. I mean, you've got your Hendrixes,
right?
You've got your Yeses. You've got some Beefheart, some Zappa.
There you go.
The through line continues.
Yes,
and then. Just in terms of album art, a lot of the early 90s indie stuff.
Right.
Ride and Slow Dive and My Bloody Valentine, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I hear a lot of people talking about My Bloody Valentine these days. It seems like people are, even a lot of people even back then didn't discover them at the time, but now they're suddenly coming to the foreground. So it's interesting how that works.
It's really interesting. I think it's the way that things come out when they first arrive. I think there's a lot of like, they're obviously trying something that's never been tried before that day. And there's a lot of resistance and kind of hate that comes. And I know this when I hear some new music, I'm pretty much always, especially if I'm going to like it eventually, I usually just detest it.
Right.
So
okay.
The first reaction is like, no. You got it wrong. I don't like this.
All right.
And
now I'm probably required by law to ask you a question about your dad. So do you run your music past your father and get his opinion?
I run it behind him, and then it's already there.
Right.
He has to deal with it.
I'm sure. Well, what have you learned from him? What's the most important lesson?
Well, many lessons. I think. Here's the most important lesson I've learned from every established artist or person who's had that kind of success that I've met is you just never know what is going to really click. Because a lot of people are like, oh, ask advice from your dad about what's good. It's like, he doesn't know.
Right.
You have to just, it's the same, with all us idiot creatives, you just have to do the art and stand behind it. And, it either sinks or swims. you don't know. And just because you had a giant hit even last year,
right?
You don't know. You don't really know. And everyone will say this. Every producer will just be like, I don't know. It was, it was Umbrella by Rihanna, and I had it in the, on the tape, and I was like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So the most recent thing that people can listen to, obviously, is this live EP. What do you remember about the show that it was recorded?
It was in Strasbourg, France, only in November.
Right.
And
it was only in November. That's not long.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we did like 112 shows last year, so I remember that it was a show.
All right. So why did you pick that performance to release then?
I just felt like that month. I just felt like I was in a groove.
Right.
It was really, everything was happening, and a couple of weeks later, everybody got sick with whatever the not COVID thing was that everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Everyone's like, "Oh, you're feeling good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's not COVID, but it still sucked."
Yep. And are you a fluent French speaker? I hear you speaking it on the record, but you might have been winging it. I don't know.
I wouldn't say fluent, but like I can wing it in a lot of languages if I have to. But French is kind of it feels natural to me. For sure. On stage, and stage banter is fine. I've got enough words for that, as long as someone doesn't ask me a question back.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. I think I took 3 years of French in high school, and it came out. The only thing I learned how to say was "je ne sais pas," which is I don't know, which is the answer to any question that anybody would ask me. So,
je sais pas. Yeah, what you've got to do is pretend you can't speak English.
Yeah.
And get drunk in your target language location. That's what you got to do.
All right. Well, you can do that here in New Zealand. We'll look forward to seeing you.
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. We shouldn't. It's not too far away. How far you're going to be here? When exactly?
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's cool.
It's not too far. We've got to make our way across Australia.
Yeah. It's a big country.
It's massive.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm getting. I've been here before, but it always blows my mind. It's the size of the United States, approximately, with the population of Southern California.
Right. There's a lot of emptiness in the middle there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if it's worth actually driving across, or if that's a complete disaster.
I'd be the last person to ask that. All righty. Well, however you get here safely, and we look forward to seeing you here.
I'll come by caravan.
Please do. All right. Thank you very much,
Marty.
Good luck with everything.
Mate.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.